Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah wa kafa wa salamun ala ibadilladhina istafa. Amma ba'd. قال تعالى في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إذا قال يوسف لأبيه يا أبت إني رأيت أحد عشر كوكبا والشمس والقمر رأيتهم لي ساجدين صدق الله العظيم. Dear respected brothers, elders, sisters, and anybody that's listening, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today we're going to talk about Prophet Yusuf alayhi Islam. His name has been mentioned 27 times in the Holy Quran, and there's a whole surah dedicated to Yusuf alayhi Islam. And the story of Yusuf alayhi Islam only exists in this surah, which is called Surah Yusuf. Yusuf alayhi Islam was the son of Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam. We mentioned yesterday that Yaqub alayhi salam had two wives, Leah and Rahil. Leah had 10 sons, and Rahil, she had 2 sons. And from those 2 sons were Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam and Binyamin. Today, the tafsir we're going to do, the stories we're going to talk about, I'm going to split the story of Yusuf alayhi salam. I'm going to mention half of it today and inshallah half of it tomorrow, because it's such a beautiful and elegant story that I think it's worth going through the whole story of Yusuf al-Islam bit by bit. The story of Yusuf al-Islam contains lots of things that you or me in our life we experience, we go through, we face challenges, we go through difficulties, and we can relate to. And that's why I think it's very important to go through this surah in quite a lot of detail. This story is of jealousy, betrayal, evil conspiracies, plotting against innocent people, and also patience, showing gratitude towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in the end, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala getting somebody successful because they persevered and they stuck in obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we will learn many lessons from this. And like I said to you, if somebody wants to make a movie and he starts writing a script out, he plans all these things: jealousy, betrayal, plots, all these things. And everything in this surah, it contains everything. And everything, like I said, that we can relate to in our life, because we go through life, we might feel jealous of somebody, we might fall into hatred, or vice versa, somebody towards us. And a lot of these things usually happen within families. You're not going to hate a person you don't know. You're not going to be jealous of a person you don't know. Usually, a person's always jealous of his own brothers, his own sisters, his own family members. And because of that, there becomes ill feeling, there becomes hatred, there become plots and planning. And we see many a time in reality, family breakups happen because of all these reasons. People go to the extent, brothers go to the extent of fighting because of these reasons. And astaghfirullah, to the extent sometimes people even within family members, they're ready to kill one another. And all these incidents we can relate to in the story of Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam. Like I said to you, Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam, his real brother was Binyamin, and he had 10 stepbrothers. And to Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam, Yusuf Islam and Binyamin were a bit more closer. This doesn't mean that Yaqub alayhi salam favored them over the others. It's just that they had special qualities of righteousness, of piety. And Yaqub alayhi salam, being a prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he recognized there was something special in Yusuf alayhi salam. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take him far. So sometimes when you have children, they're all special to you and you love them all and they love the parents as well. But what happens is if some child is a bit more obedient towards Allah, he is more obedient towards his parents. In your heart, you just have that special attachment towards that particular child. And that's why Yaqub alayhi salam, he had this special attachment with Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam. So, what happened one day, Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam, he comes to his father and he says to his father, my father, I had a dream. إذ قال يوسف لأبيه يا أبت إني رأيت أحد عشر كوكبا والشمس والقمر رأيتهم لي ساجدين. I saw a dream that there was 11 stars and there was the sun and the moon and they were all prostrating towards me, before me. Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam from this dream realized the speciality in Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam and that how Allah will honor him in the future and he will be a prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a person who will guide people, a person that will help people, a person that will care for people, a person that will have concern for others. And at the end, everybody will acknowledge his status, his prophethood, his piety, his honesty, his integrity. And that's why once they will recognize this, they will fall into prostration. This is not a prostration of worship, but of respect and honor. So Yusuf alayhi salam, he's a young child, and he said, oh dad, I've seen this dream. There's 11 stars, they're bowing to me, and there's the sun and the moon. What does it mean? So the 11 stars indicated the 11 brothers, and the sun and the moon was the father and the mother. So they will all fall into prostration. So Yaqub Islam, he said to Yusuf, just do one thing. Don't relay this dream to your brothers. Don't mention that you've had this dream. Otherwise, they will start getting jealous and they will start plotting against you and they will start harming you. So one thing, just don't let them know. So because he was a small child and the word got out to the brothers that Yusuf Sam has seen this dream where the 11 stars are bowing to him, meaning that the brothers will be bowing to Yusuf alayhi salam. After that, the brothers, their hatred grew for Yusuf alayhi salam and they would mock him and they would say to him, you think that we're going to bow to you? We're going to fall in prostration to you? So the brothers, they started plotting. You know what? اقتلوا يوسف أو اطرحوه أرضا. Let's kill him or let's get rid of him. Let's do something with it. Let's deal with him so that we get the full attention of our Father towards us. So He gives us the full love and care. And once we've done that, we'll do tawbah. We'll ask Allah for forgiveness and Allah will forgive us. One of the brothers who was called Yehuda, he had an attachment to Yusuf alayhi salam. And he said, rather than killing him, let's just throw him in the bottom of the pit. Somebody will pick him up and take him. At least he'll be gone from us. Let's not kill him. Let's just throw him in a pit. And somebody will pick him up and take him away. And he'll be history. So they all agreed. So they thought, let's come to the father and let's say to the father, we want to go out, we want to play, and we want to take Yusuf with us. So they approached the father Yaqub alayhi salam. And they said to him, how come you don't trust us with Yusuf? He's our brother. We love him. We care for him. Let him come out with us. we'll play, we'll enjoy ourselves, we'll take good care of Yusuf alayhi salam. So Yaqub alayhi salam replied that I worry that if he goes with you, that you won't be able to look after him. And some wolf might come and eat him up whilst you lot are heedless, you lot are into your play. So said, no, Father, we're strong. They look, there's 10 of us, we're strong, we'll be able to deal with anything. Just go on, let's take him. So Prophet Yaqub gave in to their plea, and he gave permission for Yusuf to go with them. So they took Yusuf alayhi salam. And when they took Yusuf alayhi salam, they were ready to throw him into the pit. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds in the Holy Quran, don't worry, Yusuf, one day you will remind your brothers of what they done to you. And they will feel sorry, they will feel guilty, and they will ask for forgiveness from you. So anyway, so this was their plan. They threw Yusuf alayhi salam into a pit, into a well. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He saved Yusuf alayhi salam. Yusuf alayhi salam landed on a rock. For 3 days, Yusuf alayhi salam, he stayed at the bottom of the pit. In some narration, it says that his brother Yehuda would secretly come towards him, and whilst he was in the pit, he would send down food, and he would send down some water, he would send down food and some rations so that he would be fed. So the brothers, now that they've thrown Yusuf alayhi salam into the well, they had to come up with a plan. So what they did, they slaughtered a goat and they sprinkled the blood onto the shirt. وَجَاءُوا آبَاءَهُمْ عِشَاءً يَبْكُونَ. They came in the evening, all the brothers, and they were crying, oh Father, you were right. You know, a wolf came and he ate up Yusuf alayhi salam. So وَجَاءُوا عَلَىٰ قَمِيصٍ بِدَمٍ كَذِبٍ. So Yusuf alayhi salam, Yaqub alayhi salam, he seen the shirt of Yusuf alayhi salam, and he was surprised that the shirt was still in one piece. And he realized this was a plot by the brothers. Either the wolf must have been very kind and asked Yusuf to take off the shirt before I harm you. You know, it was very strange to see a shirt still in one piece. And then he seen that the blood that's on the shirt is not the blood of a human. So he realized they had done something evil to Yusuf alayhi salam. So Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam, he did sabr. And what happened was, whilst Yusuf alayhi salam was at the bottom of the well, a caravan went past and a messenger was sent to go and get some water. So as he put the bucket down and he was taking the bucket up, to his surprise, Ya Bushra Hada Ghulam, great news, there's a boy here. They realized that we can make some money, we can sell him, we're going towards Egypt. So they took him to the markets of Egypt, they sold him. وَشَرَوْهُ بِثَمْنٍ بَخْسٍ دَرَاهِمَ مَعْدُودَةٍ. They sold him for only a bit of price, for a few silver coins. They didn't understand the value of Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam. So who bought Yusuf alayhi salam? It was the finance minister of Egypt, the Aziz. He bought Yusuf alayhi salam and he took Yusuf alayhi salam home, and he informed his wife Zuleika that take good care and look after him. and adopt him as a son. So Yusuf alayhi salam, he is now as a servant in the house of the Aziz, the finance minister. Yusuf alayhi salam had the beauty of half of the world. And when we go into Jannat, we will have the beauty of Yusuf alayhi salam. Zuleika became attracted to Yusuf alayhi salam, and she tried to seduce Yusuf alayhi salam. One day, when the minister wasn't at home, she locked all the doors, and she said, "Hey Talab, come to me. Come on." Yusuf alayhi salam shouted out, "Ma'adallah, I seek refuge with Allah. Your husband is my master. How can I do such an act?" Allah Ta'ala says, وَلَقَدْ حَمَّدْ بِي وَهَمَّ بِهَا لَوْلَا أَرَّأَى بُرْهَانَ رَبِّي. She certainly desired him, and he might have desired her, had he not seen the proof from his Lord. Sometime, and this is a great lesson to us all, in life we are cornered in a situation where our temptation and our desires get the better of us. Sometimes it could be peer pressure, especially when you're growing up. If everybody is smoking and you're not smoking, and your friends will say, "Go on, just have one drug. Go on, just have one smoke. One puff won't harm you." And you're cornered now because everybody's doing it. The atmosphere is made where everybody's smoking, and you're the only one that's not. Or sometime like this now, in the scenario of Yusuf alayhi salam, all the doors are locked. A beautiful woman is calling you towards sin. All the atmosphere is made. It's very easy to fall into sin. That's why humans are the best of creation, because we can fall into temptation and desires. But when we resist and we call out Allah, Mu'adallah, we seek refuge with Allah, that's what Allah loves. That when we are cornered, when the atmosphere is against us, that we still remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We still seek refuge with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And remember, in life, this is a life of temptation and desires. You will be cornered many times in your life. But that doesn't mean you've got to give in to the sin. You need to fall into the trap. You need to rise above that. And you need to control your temptations and your desires. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He showed a sign to Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam. Some of the Mufassirin, they say that the face of his father, the image of his father appeared right before him. And Yusuf alayhi salam, he ran. And as he ran, Zuleika was chasing him. And as she was chasing him, she ripped the back of his shirt. And as they were running, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kept on opening the doors. And this is a symbol and sign that if you really want to stop from guna and sin, and you really seek Allah's help and protection, Allah will get you out. Allah will start opening the doors for you. But you need to plead to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just like Yusuf was pleading to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kept on opening the doors. And then the Aziz, the minister, appeared. Now you just tell me, what a scenario. You've seen your wife, and you see the beautiful man, and his shirt is ripped. What thought must come to the Aziz? So she said, what could be the punishment of him who intended to do evil with your wife? So straight away Zuleika, she accused Yusuf alayhi salam that he's the one that instigated all this, and he was the one that wanted to do wrong. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He saved Yusuf alayhi salam. Some Mufassirin say that a child, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave the power to a child to speak. And the child said, if the shirt is ripped from the front, then Yusuf alayhi salam is guilty. But if the shirt is ripped from the back, that means Zuleika was chasing Yusuf alayhi salam, and Zuleika is guilty. And when they looked at the shirt was ripped from the back. And that proved that Yusuf's son was innocent and Zuleika was guilty. So, straight away, Yusuf a'rid an hadha, or Yusuf ignored this matter. The minister said, please, let's keep this quiet. Let's not tell anybody what's happened. Let's keep it hush hush. And he said to his wife that you should seek forgiveness for your sins. You're the guilty one. Yusuf Sam is the innocent one. But Yusuf, please, just stay quiet. Just ignore this happen. Let's just put it to a side. Let's keep our respect and honor. Don't mention it to anybody. Otherwise, this will be shaming upon us. So, what happened? The rumors started getting out. And the women, they heard that Zuleika, she tried to seduce her slave boy. And they were amazed that why would you want to seduce a slave boy? Especially Zuleika, she's beautiful, she's elegant, she's of a high status, she's the wife of the minister of the financial minister of Egypt. And she's been tempted by a slave boy. So then Zuleika, she invited all the women to a party, to a gathering. And she gave them some fruit and some food. And she gave them a knife. And she said to them, cut the fruit. And at the same time, she said to Yusuf, I want you to walk in front of the women. So whilst the women were busy cutting the fruit, Yusuf walked past them. And the women, their eyes fell on Yusuf salam. The beauty of Yusuf salam, how handsome he was, that they started cutting the knives into their hands. They were cutting their hands and they didn't feel the pain. They were bleeding. But they didn't feel any pain because their eyes were engaged at the beauty of Yusuf alayhi salam. And what did they say? Ma hadha basharan inna hadha illa malakun kareem. This is not a man. He must be a noble angel. So Zuleika said, yes, I approached him. I seduced him. But he resisted. And because of this, he's going to go to prison. And then Yusuf replies, قال رب سجني أحب إلي مما يدعونني إليه. That I prefer to go to the prison. Going to prison is better for me than what you invite me towards. I prefer to go to the prison. So Yusuf salam, he was sent to prison. Now, when Yusuf salam was sent to prison, he was an innocent man. He didn't do anything wrong. But Yusuf, for his own safety, he preferred to be in the prison. And that reminds me of a hadith, Ad-dunya sijn al-mu'min wa jannatul kafir. That the Prophet Muhammad said that this world is a prison for a Muslim and it's a Jannat paradise for the kafir. Why? Because when you are in a prison, when you are locked up, you are in your cell. From your cell, you can see the world and the temptations and the desires and the beauty. But you're locked up, you can't go towards that. And that's how this world should be for a Muslim. Even though there's so much on offer outside, there's so many temptation, desires, we should regard this as a prison. And for the kafir, this is his jannat because he has no iman, no faith in the hereafter. So he will fulfill all his temptations and his desires. But on the other hand, in jannat, in paradise, a Muslim will be free. There will be no prison, he'll be free, and he could do what he likes. He can enjoy what he likes. He can fulfill all his temptation, all his desires, and there will be never ending temptations and desires. He will enjoy himself to the maximum, and Jannat is never ending. And every taste of Jannat, every happiness of Jannat just gets better and better. We can't even imagine, we can't even think how beautiful Jannat will be. In Jannat, none of us will resist. In Jannat, we will all fulfill our temptations and desires. But whilst we're in dunya, we need to resist. We need to control ourselves. That's why our Prophet said, Ad-dunya sijn al-mu'min, that the dunya is a prison for the believers and it's a jannat for the kafir. Because a kafir does have no restriction. He has no concerns of halal, haram. Whereas the Muslim is limited. So here, Yusuf in that concept, he preferred to go to prison because he knew that was more better for him than to be outside and being seduced by fitna. Because his beauty became a means of fitna for other people. That's why fitna comes in different shapes and sizes. Sometimes your wealth can be your fitna. It could be your test. Sometimes your beauty can be your test. Sometimes your family can be your test. Sometimes your business can be your test. Sometimes your illness can become your test. So a person can be tested in different ways. And Yusuf Islam, his beauty, even though he wasn't going towards evil, other people were tempting him towards evil. So he preferred the prison. So whilst he was in prison, there were other two inmates. One was the cupbearer for the king, and one was the cook for the king. And both of them were accused of poisoning the king. So they were waiting for their punishment. So they had a dream, both of them had a dream. And one of them said that I seen in my dream that I'm pressing wine. And the other one said, I seen in my dream that I'm carrying bread on my head from which birds are eating from. Can you tell us the interpretation of these dreams? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He honored Yusuf with prophethood. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestowed the knowledge of the interpretations of dreams to Yusuf alayhi salam. He had this quality that he could interpret the dreams. So Yusuf, before he interpreted their dreams, he invited them to the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He gave them dawat, just as he gave other inmates of the prison dawat towards the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Adai, he always has concerns for others. A caller to God's way always wants better for others. And constantly he is giving dawah towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then Yusuf said, I will tell you the interpretations of your dreams. He said, the one that is serving wine to his master, he'll continue to serve wine to his master. So the dream that you seen, that you are serving, you are pressing wine, that means that you are the cupbearer and you are innocent. You didn't try to poison the king. And because of this, your innocence will be proved and you will go back to your job and you will carry on pressing wine, you will carry on serving the king. But on the other hand, the person where the birds were eating from his head, he was the guilty one. He tried to poison the king. He will be crucified. So this is the interpretation of the dream, that the cupbearer, you are innocent, and the cook, you are guilty, and because of that, you'll be crucified. And that's what happened. So Yusuf, he said to the cupbearer that when you go out, just tell the king I'm innocent and please get me released from this prison. When the cupbearer was released and he carried on serving the king, he forgot all about Yusuf alayhi salam. So Yusuf alayhi salam spent 7 years in prison. And today we'll stop our tafsir on this. Tomorrow we will continue from the dream of the king and then how Prophet Yusuf will see his brothers and his whole family and they will all be reunited. May Allah give us all tawfiq to do amal. Wa akhiru dawana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.